bleeding purple and gold. From the heart of Los Angeles, this is the LakersNation.com podcast with your host, Trevor Lane.
Welcome to today's show. As always, guys, we are powered by LakersNation.com. Go check it out. All the latest breaking Lakers news you can find there, and CLNS Media. Now, today's show is brought to you by BuyPro USA. Go to buyprousa.com. Check out their wide assortment of fitness supplement products. They have protein waters and shakes and all sorts of things. I really love the protein water. It's lactose free. They taste great. They are just phenomenal. I really, really love them. I've been on the lookout for something like this for a long time, and BuyPro just hit the nail on the head. They make a phenomenal product. I know that they are supported by both Larry Nance Jr. and Brandon Ingram from the Lakers, so go check them out, buyprousa.com. Now, on today's show, I've got Hannah Kulik joining me from LakersNation.com, and then also we have a very special guest. We have Los Angeles Lakers power forward Larry Nance Jr. We're going to chat a little bit about the season, what's been going on with the Lakers lately. We're going to talk about these Paul George rumors and what it's going to be like playing against Paul George on Wednesday night, and a whole host of other things. Really had a good time chatting with him. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Let's bring on Hannah Kulik and Lakers power forward Larry Nance Jr. Larry, thanks so much for coming on.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
So, Larry, you just had a birthday. So I guess we should say happy belated birthday and happy New Year, man.
Well, thank you. Happy New Year to you guys as well.
Hey, did your teammates do anything for you for your birthday / New Year's?
There was a cake for me, and the rookies sung me happy birthday, which was a blast.
Are they good singers?
I'll have to say that Josh Hart and Kuz are better basketball players than they are singers.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Okay, so we're just going to jump right into it. Everyone knows that the Lakers are on a current 7-game losing streak, and I know you and the team are all frustrated about this. What can the team do to get back on track?
Any number of things. You know, we've been talking about it all year. Our free throws have been a big issue. We've been fouling teams a lot. Recently we haven't been shooting it that great. You know, there's numerous issues that we're having right now. But truthfully, honestly, I think the biggest thing is our defense. You know, we slipped out of the top 10, which we kind of been there all year, and that's, to me, that's the first step in getting back to where we want to be.
Do you have an idea of why you've fallen out of the top 10? Is it rotations? Is it rebounding? What is it that's caused your defense to drop?
I'm not sure. You know, I mean, we're obviously down a couple of guys right now and have been for a little bit, but you know that shouldn't necessarily cause us to slip this bad. But yeah, I think the rebounding, guys taking pride in their individual defense. You know, it's a multitude of different things, but like I said, once we fix the defense, the rest will come.
Well, your teammate Andrew Bogut mentioned that he thinks that the off-season talk, all the talk about cap space and all that stuff, plus the trade deadline coming up, he feels like that might be a factor in terms of the mentality of the team. Do you agree with that? Do you think that the trade deadline and everything coming up is a distraction? Is that kind of getting in guys' heads?
I don't know if it's a distraction, but I mean, it's definitely something that, you know, we talk about, and you got to acknowledge it because it's something that's very real. You know, it's this time of year, I'd imagine it's happening on every team where guys are, you know, speculating and talking and trying to figure out, do you think I'll be here? You know, try that type of thing. And so I don't know so much a distraction, but more so, yeah, I mean, that's going on with every team in the league right now.
Speaking of another big free agent that's always just kind of been heavily rumored to be coming on the Lakers, Paul George is coming into town on a Wednesday with the Thunder. Obviously, the Lakers need a win, but with Paul George coming into town, is that kind of a factor at all, or is that something that's in the guys' heads at all?
No, nobody's even considering that. We just want to win. It's him coming or not has nothing to do with anything that we can control. If he does, he does. If he doesn't, he doesn't. But that's not for us to worry about. The only thing we need to worry about is trying to win.
Larry, when I thought about this situation, and all the talk has been about Paul George and him maybe coming to the Lakers, and all that, you guys are aware of that. But I thought back to the 92 Dream Team and Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, when they went against Tony Kukoc, knowing that he was going to be coming in, it gave them that extra motivation to really go at him that summer during the whole Dream Team run. So do you think you guys are going to have that little extra motivation to really go after Paul George with the media, all of us all talking about him?
No. No. It's as far as the players are concerned, he's just another player on the court. He's obviously a very good one, but him potentially coming here or not has no effect on how hard we're going to play against him or, how physical we're going to be with him or anything like that. We're going to try to slow him down. We're going to try to stop the Thunder and we're going to try to win. It has nothing to do with, him coming out here.
Well, Lakerland kind of got some good news today. Both Lonzo and Lopez were cleared to practice. Do you think they're going to be able to play Wednesday night against OKC?
I certainly hope so. Today's an off day, so I didn't get to, we didn't get to see them in the gym. But yeah, they both have looked really good. They both, we need them. So if we can get them Wednesday, that would be great. If we can get them the game after that, it'd be great. I'm just excited to get those guys back.
Yeah, what impact has them both being gone had on the team?
Without Zoe, our pace drops significantly. He gets out on the break and pushes it. We run so much better with him kind of running the ship. And then, with Brooke, we've had, our rotations are all weird right now. We have, sometimes we have Josh Hart playing the 4. We have different guys plugging in at different positions. And so when he comes back, we'll get back to a more natural, normal lineup.
Do you have an idea, when Brooke Lopez was in the lineup, Luke was running you as the starting power forward. Do you have any sense, are you going to be pushed back into that role at the starting 4 when he comes back, or is Kuz going to stick there, or any idea of what's going to happen?
I have no idea. No idea. And to be completely honest, it doesn't matter that much to me. I'm just, whatever. If like I've said many different times, if it's Kuz that helps us win, then it's great. We'll start Kuz. If it's me, great. We'll start me. If it's you, great. We'll start you. I don't care. I'm just kind of sick of losing.
Well, I think that's it seems to be where the entire team is at, and I know that you've said that many times that it doesn't matter to you whether you start or not, but that's awesome. The other night you guys were in a game, and I think it wasn't the game against Houston. It was one of the games where you guys were down a decent amount in the fourth, and people were getting upset online and everything, and then you came in and you made a play where you dove after a ball, and I made this comment. I said, gosh, the game's kind of out of hand right now, and there's Larry Nance Jr. diving after a ball. He doesn't care whether he starts. He doesn't care what the score is. He just goes in and gives 100% every single time. And I think that's one of the things that Magic Johnson was talking about earlier this year when he called you the secret weapon for the team, that you're that guy that just goes in and gets it done. Is there anything that you can pull from your past that really brought that mentality to you, or maybe from your dad growing up, or anything like that?
Not necessarily. I mean, to me, that's just how the game is meant to be played. Every possession you're out there, if there's a ball on the court, you better be the first one to it. If there's whatever it is, if you're not giving 100%, you kind of, you're hurting your team, and being a team first guy, that's the very last thing I want to do. And so if it's diving on the floor, if it's putting myself out there like that, then that's what I got to do. But I'm just trying to win at all costs.
So, yeah, Larry, I have to say, I have a lot of respect for you, because you've just been the one player who I know every single time goes out on the court is just going to give it his all. So I just want to say, as a fan's point of view, thank you so much, because, you always provide so much energy and so much hustle. So I know us fans, we all really appreciate that.
Well, that means a lot. It really does. I certainly appreciate it.
Hey Larry, one of the questions that I've got for you here is about your dunk on Kevin Durant. That was, I think it was one of your top three, I would say, dunks of your career. Looking back, do you have one that stands out above all the rest, like your favorite dunk or anything like that?
I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it anymore. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it anymore. He might be coming back Wednesday. But no, I mean the one in Brooklyn last year would kind of stands out head and shoulders above the rest of me. It was over a 7-footer. It was in a close game. It was one that I'm pretty fond of.
And now he's your teammate.
But yeah, I agree. The KD one was top 3 for sure, though.
I've got, and I don't know, maybe you agree with me here. I've got the Durant one, the Brook Lopez one, and then when you were a rookie, I've got the dunk on Festus Ezeli in the preseason. Those are my top 3.
That was definitely a good one, but oddly enough, I can't tell you why, but there was, when we were in Memphis, it was a tip dunk off of a Lou Williams miss that, for some reason, it's in my top 3. I have the KD one, the Brook, and then this one in Memphis is a tip dunk, and it was just, for me, it was still one of my favorites because it was kind of around Vince Carter, and that him being there made it that much cooler.
That's awesome. Yeah, getting a big dunk in front of Vince Carter would be amazing because he is, I mean, probably the greatest dunker of all time, right?
Oh, not probably. He absolutely is.
I mean, he jumped over a 7-foot guy. That's got to mean something.
It doesn't get it. You can't get any better than that.
Hey, I know we've asked you before about the dunk contest, and you've said that you would have a hard time saying no if you were asked and everything. We're getting pretty close here. Has anyone from the league approached you about potentially being involved?
I haven't been contacted about the dunk contest yet. Whether I am or not will be, I'll kind of be waiting to hear. But there's still a little bit of time left. So whether they do or not, we'll see. But it is in LA, and I think it'd be pretty cool to do.
I really find that surprising that no one's contacted you about the dunk contest yet. I'm in shock.
Well, they've got a lot going on. So whether they're whether they've got a really good field already or whatever it may be, but I'm not too worried about it. If the invite comes, it does, and I'll be excited.
Yeah, that's true. We definitely want to see you in there. So hopefully one day you are.
I've said since my rookie year, it's something that I would love to do at some point, and whether it's this year, great. Whether it's not, or if it's next year, whatever it is, but at some point I would love to.
All right, well, let's wrap things up with one last question for you, Larry. Here's one. Now, New Year's just came and went, and everybody makes their own New Year's resolution. For me, I'm going to do a little bit more of a cardio workout, or I'm going to try to anyway, get into a little bit better shape. Hannah, what about you?
I think I need to try to cook more meals at home. I need to stop eating out as much. That's going to be my main thing.
And Larry, did you make any New Year's resolution or anything that you want to share?
I would say yeah, probably. This year I'm going to be way more charitable. I have my own foundation, for Crohn's and stuff like that. But, in terms of getting out there, there are a bunch of charities that I, want to work with and help bring attention to and stuff like that I think are good causes that I'm going to donate my time to and energy to this year.
Okay. Your resolution was way better than ours.
Yeah. It way beats ours.
Well, no judgments here.
All right. Well, hey, thank you so much, Larry, and a big thanks to BriPro for making this happen. And check out Lean Clean Protein, really phenomenal product, one that I use myself. So once again, Larry Nance Jr., thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Of course. Thanks for having me on, guys.
And hey, best of luck against the Oklahoma City Thunder and for the rest of the season.
Much appreciated. Take it easy.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, so that was great getting to talk to Larry Nance Jr. Hannah, I always have a good time having him on the show. He's such a cool guy, huh?
Yeah, you know what? It's always so exciting to be able to interview Larry Nance because he's been one of my favorite players, just since the Lakers drafted him a few years ago. I've always, like I even told him, I just really respect how hard he plays. So he's always been one of my favorite players on the team. So definitely cool to get the chance to kind of talk to him and pick his brain a little bit.
I've actually been seeing a little bit of backlash against Larry Nance because people were upset that he was eating into Julius Randle's minutes. And I was trying to explain, look, if you're a coach and you've got a guy like Larry Nance that literally, he said it multiple times on this show, he does not care whether he starts, whether he plays 5 minutes, whether he plays 30 minutes, whether he scores 20 points, whether he scores 2 points, any of that. It doesn't matter to him. He just wants the team to win, and when he gets out on the floor, he's going to go give 100%, and that's the exact kind of player that you want around a young team like this, right?
Oh, totally. And you know what, Trevor? You can never please all of the fans because if Nance doesn't play or if Julius plays all the minutes, then people are mad that Nance didn't play. And then if Nance plays and Julius doesn't, then, fans are still upset. So you can never please anyone. As long as we get a win, I don't care who plays, honestly.
Agreed. Well, you know what? Larry didn't seem to think that the whole Paul George thing is going to be a big deal. And
yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, here's my prediction, though. I think that against the Oklahoma City Thunder, which we're recording this on Tuesday, you're probably listening to this on Wednesday. Maybe you're listening to it on Thursday, and then you already know what happened. But I think there's going to be a big pop from the Staples Center crowd when Paul George gets announced. I think they're going to be kind of wooing Paul George a little bit. I think there's going to be a big difference between Paul George coming to town because he's a free agent and because he's from LA than some other random star. Right? There's going to be a difference between Paul George getting announced at Staples Center and, say, Kristaps Porzingis getting announced or somebody like that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. I'm actually going to the game tomorrow, and I'm really excited about it. I was a good daughter and got those tickets for my dad for his birthday, and, of course, I included one for me. So I'm going to this game tomorrow, and it's been one that I've circled on my calendar since the very beginning. So I'm really excited to see. I think the crowd's going to be really involved in it. And, it's important. I know Larry, kind of mentioned that it didn't really matter. They weren't really thinking about, it being Paul George coming to the Staples Center. But I think it does really matter how the Lakers play. They need to play well. Guys like Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Kuzma, if hopefully he's able to play, they need to be able to play well because they need to make Paul George really want to come to LA. And if they kind of go out there and lay an egg, it might, diminish the chances of him coming this summer.
Yeah, that's a great point. I was looking at this and I was thinking, gosh, what's the perfect scenario for this game if you want Paul George to come to LA? Well, first of all, he's going to get a warm welcome. Mm-hmm. And then you want to have Lonzo Ball hopefully play. We don't know yet if he's going to play or not. He is right now questionable. You want to have him play, and you want to have him play well, right? You want to have him play well. You want to have Kyle Kuzma, again, who's questionable. His injury flared up again. You want to have both those guys play and play well. Same thing with Brandon Ingram. Those three guys are going to be important that they play well if they can really show flashes. And the other thing is I want this team to look like they're having fun out there and they're enjoying playing together because I think that makes a difference too. If you've got Paul George who is playing alongside Russell Westbrook and he's jacking up 20, 25 shots and Paul George isn't getting his looks and then he's seeing across the court Lonzo just dropping dimes all over the place and guys getting as many open shots as they want, I think that matters. Maybe it's not the deciding factor or anything like that, but I think that's at least the ideal scenario is that the Lakers win and that those things happen.
Oh, yeah, I completely agree with you. I think Lonzo Ball, hopefully he's going to be able to play. I think if he's able to play, how he plays is going to be the most important because, like you said, we want Paul George to see Lonzo Ball as a guy that, if I come and play for the Lakers, Lonzo's going to get me my looks and he's going to make me look really good. So we need Lonzo Ball. Hopefully we need him to play. And if he does play, we need him to have one of his really nice nights.
Yeah, I mean, like a triple-double would be phenomenal. I mean,
Yes.
maybe I'm asking for too much.
I was just going to say it, but I didn't want to jinx it.
Yeah, that's maybe we're asking for too much here, but yeah, I mean, a good performance from all those guys would be incredible. Now, there was some more Paul George news that actually came out today, and this was an interview, a press conference that he was doing, and somebody asked him, "Do you have any regrets that word got out that you wanted to go to the Lakers last summer?" Via trade. And Paul George is always kind of, I mean, he didn't dodge the question or anything. Like, everybody knew that he wanted to go to the Lakers, but he specifically said that it was. In fact, here, I'll give you his direct quote right here. He said, "I have no regrets at all. All that was said was a destination I would have loved to go to. There wasn't a gun pointed to the head saying, 'Hey, send me here.' I just stated somewhere I wanted to go play." You ask 87% of the guys in the league if they would love to go back home and play for their city, play for their home. That's all that I stated, that I would love to go back home and play for my city. And there's been a kind of a debate on this. Is he saying this past tense? Is he saying this like, yeah, that was what I thought last summer, but don't think anymore? Or that last line where he says, "I would love to go back home and play for my city," is that something that still applies today? So as you can imagine, this is kind of poured gasoline on a fire that was already raging about Paul George coming to Los Angeles. I mean, this is pretty big news here if he is admitting that he still wants to come play for his hometown. So, Hannah, is this, out of the big three, right, that are available in free agency, that's DeMarcus Cousins, LeBron James, and Paul George, do you think Paul George is the most likely out of that group, or is it somebody else?
It's actually interesting because I just asked my Twitter a few hours ago if they could only get one guy, it being either LeBron James, DeMarcus Cousins, or Paul George, who would they want? And 41% said Paul George. So he beat out, Cousins was the second with 31%, and LeBron was with 28%. So I thought that was interesting. And, I think Paul George is a guy that I think a lot of people want him to come to LA because I think he fits in there the best. You would just kind of assume that he would take KCP's spot at shooting guard. I know Paul George plays small forward or shooting guard, but I think he would just come in and play shooting guard. And then Brandon Ingram, nothing happens to him. He stays in there at small forward. And, there's always been these rumors that Paul George, wants to come to LA. And of course, with this story breaking out, I think, yes, he was referring to last summer, but I think he would still like to play in LA if the circumstances are good. That being said, he doesn't want to come to an LA team that is, completely all over the place. He wants to come to an LA team where, he comes in and maybe we get someone else, whether it be DeMarcus Cousins or LeBron James, we get someone else and then we can start winning games. I don't think he wants to necessarily come to the Lakers and be, in this downward spiral, but I think him obviously coming to the Lakers, it would greatly improve the team anyway. But I just think he's the best fit for the Lakers right now.
Well, I think it's interesting that that your poll that you ran actually voted for Paul George over LeBron James. I mean,
I know
it's LeBron James. Like this, that's very surprising. I mean, I get that there's kind of that anti-LeBron sentiment, and Paul George is a hometown kid and all that kind of stuff. But LeBron, I mean, he is absolutely destroying it this season, and people are concerned about his age or whatever. But he's 33 and he is just destroying people right now. So I don't really understand that. I think if you had to pick between LeBron and Paul George, Paul George is a great story, but LeBron James, I think, is the superior player, and I don't think that's even debatable. But this is something that I've been wondering, though, and maybe I'll make a Twitter poll about this.
Yeah.
So if you were to choose, right, because right now, LeBron James, his max salary is $35 million. So if you're going to try to get two players, right, two max players, if you're going to get LeBron and Paul George's is 30, DeMarcus Cousins is also 30, So if you're going to try to get two, most likely here's what has to happen. If you're going to get LeBron and let's say Paul George, right, if you're going to get those two, you're going to have to do something with Deng's salary, probably waive it and stretch him. You're going to have to trade Jordan Clarkson and not get anything back, and you're going to have to let Julius Randle go. Now, I think there is a possibility that if you went with George and Cousins, because together, like LeBron and George, that's $65 million in cap space you're eating up, because one's 35 and one's 30 million. With Boogie and Paul George, you're looking at 60, so you're saving $5 million here, and I think it'll be close. The math will be really tight, but that could be the difference between keeping Julius Randle or not. And I've been on the Julius Randle train, right? I'm going to die on Julius Randle. But let me ask you this. if you had to choose between getting LeBron and one of Paul George or DeMarcus Cousins, or you could get Paul George, DeMarcus Cousins, and keep Julius Randle, which scenario would you pick there?
This is a really difficult question, Trevor. And you know what? I agree with you. I know that LeBron James is the best player in the world right now. And I know it might sound a little crazy, but I might pick Paul George and DeMarcus Cousins over LeBron James. Not even necessarily for the fact that we could keep Randall. I like Randall, so if we can keep him, that would be great. But just because if we bring in Paul George and LeBron James, I'm a little bit concerned about what's going to happen with Brandon Ingram. I feel like he's going to get pushed to the side a little bit, and I don't really want that because obviously Brandon Ingram is not our superstar player right now. But I think in a few years he definitely will be, and I don't want to do anything that's going to hinder that process.
So you go Boogie Cousins and Paul George over LeBron and Cousins, or LeBron and George. So yeah, you are allowing yourself to bring in another player. So if you're talking about starting fives, then you're looking at having potentially Randall in there, maybe somebody else, maybe they bring back Brook Lopez or something, which they can actually do. Eric Pincus has gone over this quite a bit, that they could still bring back Brook Lopez because the center market is so depressed and everything. They probably can't get much for him. Maybe it's a little presumptuous that we think that all these guys are going to be available to the Lakers. There's no guarantee whatsoever that they're all going to pick the Lakers or that any of them are going to pick the Lakers. But I think it's an interesting question, debatable at least, when we're talking about which you would rather have. Is it worth, given the way Julius Randle has been playing, is it worth it to sacrifice the dream of LeBron in LA in order to hang on to Julius Randle, who's just 23 years old? I don't know. It's a tough one. I think there's legit arguments you can make on either side. So maybe I do need to make a Twitter poll about that.
Yeah, that's a good Twitter poll. I mean, I'm not going to complain about LeBron James coming to LA. If it is LeBron James, though, then I think we need to do LeBron James and DeMarcus Cousins. I don't think we can do LeBron and Paul George. Or obviously we can. If we get that, I'm not going to freak out over it. It'll still be great. I don't think that's going to happen. But it does concern me with Brandon Ingram. I don't know. That's a hard one, Trevor. You need to do a Twitter poll, because these Twitter polls are I like them. They're my new thing. But you should do one and see what people say. I'd be very curious about it.
I'll have to post that probably tomorrow before the game. I'll post something about that. So that's an interesting debate that we can take a look at. Now, Paul George, if he does come back, right? If he does come back to Southern California, joins the Lakers, and he's playing with this team, do you think that he is the best fit? Is that because you foresee him fitting in well next to Brandon Ingram and some of these other younger guys, or is there something else there that's making you think that he's the guy? Is it like the hometown thing, or what do you think?
I think it's a little bit of both. Obviously, he's from LA, so I always kind of have a little soft spot in my heart for guys that are born and raised in LA. I always like to see them come back and play for their hometown team. But you know what? Paul George, to me, just seems like the best fit because, like I said earlier, he'll just totally slide in for that KCP spot. Doesn't disrupt Brandon Ingram. It doesn't really disrupt anyone. And Paul George is a really good player. Right now he's shooting 42% from the field, which I know is a little bit lower than his career average, but he is playing, with Westbrook and with Carmelo Anthony, but he's shooting 43% from three-point range, which is really nice. He's 81% from free throws, which, we really need some good free throw shooters on the team.
Need free throw shooters in the worst way.
I think that should be one of our most, needed things. He gets 5.5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2.4 steals. He's averaging 20.6 points a game, which, still with Russell Westbrook and Carmelo Anthony, that's still very impressive. He's a really good guy, and I think he just fits in really easily. We don't have to really give up too much for him. I think he just fit in really well with our guys so far.
So let's discuss one other thing then. If, let's say, for whatever reason, the Oklahoma City Thunder give you a call and they say, hey, we're a little worried that Paul George is going to leave after this summer. We don't think we're a title contender, which I don't think this is going to happen. I think they're going to hang on to Paul George. Okay?
I do too.
But they, at the trade deadline, they start to panic. They start to worry. They think, oh my gosh, Victor Oladipo is looking awfully good up in Indiana. Same thing with Domantas Sabonis. They're both looking really good, and we gave up both these guys to get Paul George, and he's going to walk away. That's going to be really bad. That's going to look bad on us, right? And so they decide that they're going to try to trade Paul George. And of course, Paul George once again says, I will only go to the Lakers because that's who I'm going to sign with in the summer, which is a Lakers fan's dream. And the Oklahoma City Thunder go to the Lakers and they say, okay, we'll take a deal. We'll make a move. We'll give you Paul George right now, but you've got to give us KCP for salary matching purposes and Brandon Ingram.
Oh,
do you make that move to get Paul George in-house a few months early before the summer deadline? Maybe you can sway him to come to LA and stay.
No, if we know that he wants to come to LA this summer, I wouldn't do that. I would not get rid of Brandon Ingram for that. I don't really think there's much I would do that. I would get rid of Brandon Ingram. I would definitely get rid of KCP in a heartbeat. Like, not even a question. I'm not the biggest KCP fan. I'm sorry for all of you guys who are.
KCP hate right now.
Oh, God, no. But
you don't love pull-up jumpers with 20 seconds left on the shot clock? You
know what? I just love a guy who never passes and just wants to get his points. I love him, Trevor. He's my favorite guy, you know? Didn't you know that's what I'm all about?
He is a good defender, but yes, he's brutal to watch on the offensive end. I'll say that.
There have been many games where I feel like we have lost because of KCP. But, I mean, regardless, I don't want to, bash him too much. But, yes, I would get rid of KCP for that. But I don't think I would get rid of Ingram, especially if we knew that he wanted to come to LA this summer and that we were going to get him. There's just no reason to get him a few months early, in my opinion. No way.
Right, yeah. And I think realistically, because I've seen this being debated a bit online in various places, but I think realistically what people are forgetting here is Paul George. Right? I mean, if this trade is going to go down, Paul George is going to be the first one to raise his hand and speak up and say, no.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to play with Brandon Ingram next year. I want to play with these guys. So I would think that he would probably make it known that, hey, you guys should probably just hang on to your assets and we'll I'll just sign with you over the summer rather than getting there early if it means that I don't get to play alongside some of these young guys. So yeah, I think that's probably what would go down there. I think the interesting one is, and again, don't think this is happening, but the interesting one would be if they asked for Randall, and either it would have to be Clarkson to make the salaries work. Randall, Clarkson, and something like Zubats and a second rounder or something like that. Like, would you make that trade, knowing that you probably at least have to get rid of one of Clarkson and Randall anyway, if you're going to bring in two max stars? So you've got to lose at least one of them. You may even have to lose both of them if LeBron's going to be the other guy that you're going to try to go get. And then Zubats hasn't been getting playing time. Do you make that move?
Yeah, I mean, it's all just going to really depend on if we really truly believe that we can get LeBron James, and not like we're the Lakers, we can get whoever we want kind of a belief. We need to actually kind of have some knowledge that we're going to get him, because then again, let's say we trade away Clarkson and Randall for Paul George, and then this summer comes by and we don't get anyone. We still have Paul George, which is nice, but we've now gotten rid of Randall and Clarkson, who – Randall's a big part of this team, and I know people are very mixed on Clarkson, but for the most part, he's been one of our most consistent scorers. And without Jordan Clarkson, we wouldn't have put up many points in many of these games. So I understand, I don't think so. I don't know. It would really need to be confirmed, or that we would be able to get someone else like DeMarcus Cousins or LeBron James. Because if we have this summer where we don't get any of them, and then we've lost now Randall and Clarkson, I'm a little concerned.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's a major issue. And we're going to see how the Lakers handle this situation as we get closer to the trade deadline, because like you said, if they go ahead and pull the trigger on some of these moves now rather than wait until the summer, they are taking that risk that one of these guys might just say, peace out, see you later. They may not actually end up signing them. So I think about, who was the team that cleared cap space and then the guy didn't come? Phoenix. The Phoenix Suns made a move to clear cap space, thinking that they were going to try to get LaMarcus Aldridge. They traded one of the Morris twins. They traded Marcus Morris, and that made Markieff Morris really upset, because the deal was that he and his brother were going to be playing together for now until the end of time, and created all kinds of problems inside their organization. They went ahead and traded away players in order to free up cap space, and then the guy didn't end up signing. He ended up going to the Spurs instead, so that ended up being a mistake. You don't want to see the Lakers get into that type of scenario because their margin for error is zero right now when they're trying to rebuild. They're trying to grow everything back, and they cannot make any mistakes. And it's going to be up to Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka to navigate those waters. Not going to be easy. All right, Hannah. Well, I think we covered a bunch here. We talked about a lot about Paul George. I think it's going to be exciting to see him in Staples Center. I am dying to see what the fan reaction is there. I'm imagining there's going to be a few signs. I imagine there's going to be a lot of people jumping up and down screaming when he gets announced. You might be one of them since you'll be there.
Oh, I'm for sure going to be one of them. I'm going to be making a ginormous sparkly sign that says, Paul George, please come to the Lakers. We need you. We love you. But no, I agree with you. I'm very excited for this game. Like I said earlier, this is one that I've had circled on my calendar since the schedule came out. So I'm really excited. I know the crowd's going to be electric, and it's going to be hopefully a good game. Hopefully the Lakers come out and really put forth a good effort.
Yeah, well, from what Larry Nance was saying, they definitely want to get the win here, and so hopefully they can do it. Hopefully they're a complete team. Let's keep our fingers crossed that Brook Lopez and Lonzo Ball are able to come back. Of course, your favorite player, KCP, will be back because he is eligible to play at these home games at the Staples Center. So who knows? We could maybe see a complete Lakers squad. And oh gosh, how did I even not say this? Kyle Kuzma.
I know. I was just going to say
he's
it.
Playing. Yeah.
With my luck, my favorite player would not play. But you know what? I'm going to try to be positive.
All right. Well, I think we got through a lot today. Let's go ahead and call it a day there. Next show is going to be coming up on Monday. We're going to be back to our standard Monday shows. We skipped 2 Mondays because we had Christmas and New Year's Day on Monday, so we skipped those ones. But from here on out, we're going to be back to our standard Monday shows, so be on the lookout for those. Guys, don't forget to head over to iTunes. Make sure you rate, review, and subscribe to the show. And if you have anything that you want us to address, make sure you just leave it in your review, and we will talk about it here on air. My name is Trevor Lane. I had Hannah Kulik here with me. She writes for LakersNation.com, as do I. Hannah, thanks so much for jumping on here with me. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Trevor, for having me. I'm always so excited to come on.
All right. Well, let's sign off with that. Everybody, hope you have a happy new year, and we'll see you Monday. See ya.
Bye.